back to my channel. My name is Putri Johar, or you guys can call me Pujo. Okay, so in this occasion, in today's great day, I would like to share you something about a podcast that I have listened before. The title of the podcast is BBC Podcast The Last King of France. So, without further ado, let's dive into the podcast. French Revolution. It happened in 1789 during King Louis XVI's reign. During that time, there were political and civil uproars. The people of France formed the Revolution Army, led by famous names such as Maximilien Robespierre, Marquis de Lafayette, and Jean-Paul Marat, along with several others of their colleagues who share the same ideology, to overthrow the authoritarian regime of the French monarchy and establish a country based on democracy and people's power. The French Revolution is one of the most influential events in history, in human history, that is. It started numerous revolutions in Europe and North America, mainly the United States, several years after the French Revolution started. The French Revolution is not just one big turning point of a historical event. It is a long chain of complicated political conspiracy connected to some famous names in the country and even the royal family themselves. One of the greatest mysteries and conspiracies that happened during the French Revolution period is the mystery of Louis Charles, the son of Louis XVI and his wife, Marie Antoinette, famously known as the last king of France. Before we dive deeper into the last king of France discourse, let's head back to the beginning. It all started in 1770. Young Marie Antoinette was sent from Austria to France to marry the new heir of the French monarchy at the time, King Louis XVI. After they were married, Marie Antoinette would spend the rest of her life in the luxurious castle of Versailles in Paris, along with the other members of the royal family. She was known as the queen who loved to throw parties, who loved to eat cakes, who loved to dance and socialize with other high class people. A glamorous queen, in short. However, the situation outside Versailles was quite the contrast. Most of the people of France lived in poverty and famine, while the royals were enjoying a ball at the castle, a party, and a champagne. This sparks a spirit of revolution and rebellion in the hearts of many French people. So, in 1785, Louis Charles, the next heir of the French monarch, was born, the son of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France. Although most of his early life remained unknown, historians believe that Louis Charles spent the rest of his life in Versailles before the French Revolution. 4 years after Louis Charles was born in 1789, the revolution broke out. The infamous Versailles Riot happened during that time. Angry mobs of the French people and the Revolutionary Army marched onto Versailles and stormed the palace, throwing rocks and sticks at the window, insulting the king and queen, demanding them to come out, and threatening to execute them. After the events, the king and queen, along with young Louis Charles, were all arrested and thrown into prison, awaiting for their doom. In 1793, the French people took the king and queen to the guillotine for execution. However, the fate of Louis Charles remained cloudy. Some historians believe that he died in prison. and some believe that he was swapped with another boy who looked similar to him and rescued but brought to exile. However, despite the rumors about the prince's whereabouts, 3 years later, in 1795, the French Revolutionary Army announced the death of Louis Charles. They stated that the boy died in prison. Whether he died in prison or swapped with another child, many historians are still searching for a true answer. Where was he buried? Where is his body? Time passed, and due to the advancement of technology, in the year 2000, a Belgian scientist made a breakthrough. His name is John Jacques Casimir. He conducted an experiment, an investigation to unveil the 200-year-old long royal mystery. He conducted a DNA study on a mysterious skull that was discovered near a small village in France. A researcher and author of a book called The Lost King of France, Deborah Cadbury, stated that it is true that the lost king of France was Louis Charles himself, and all pieces of evidence from during the Revolution period showed that Louis Charles spent the rest of his life as a prisoner. A prison guard in that period who delivered food and water to Louis Charles' cell reportedly had been communicating with Louis Charles for a while until one time Louis Charles did not respond and the Revolutionary Army concluded that the boy had died due to an illness. She stated that it is quite interesting that the